Welcome back to Why Gaming. Today we're going to be talking about the Forever Skies developer Q&A. They released it yesterday at the time of recording, and it is pretty damn cool. We got some really interesting feedback on there. I'm going to go over a few of the key points. We're not going to cover the entire video. If you do want to see it, the link to this Forever Skies channel is in the description down below, so do check that out. And if you do not know, we are doing giveaways all the way through December, so keep your eyes peeled in this video. There might be a key or two. If you do want to support the channel, consider subscribing, dropping a like, and if you do want to support us any further, consider checking out the members. With that being said, let's jump in and check out the developer Q&A.
I'm Greg, the community manager here at Far From Home, and a few weeks back, we sent out the word across all of our socials that we wanted your questions about our upcoming survival game. And to say you guys delivered on that is a massive understatement. We were sent a whole bunch of questions and requests from you, so thank you very much for playing your part. I was joined once again by Andre, our CEO and gameplay lead, and also by Pavel, our CMO and brand manager. We jumped onto a Discord call and went through as many of your questions as possible. Okay, so thank you very much again for sending us your questions. So we're going to get straight into them. Again, Andre, Pavel, thank you very much for joining me today. First of all, we had a question from Wide Gaming over on Twitter. What's the plan for long-term character progression? Will it be skill points based or will it be different?
Yeah, so our protagonist, as a scientist, will be able to unlock new devices, new technology during the progression of a game, and it's not all of that. I mean, as you probably was able to see in demo, there is just small introduction of the virus system, but when you're going to progress in a game, you will be able to capture the virus, you will be able to sequence it, you will be able to create boosters, and the boosters will allow you to change gameplay. So for example, when you, for the very first time, will enter some areas, maybe you will not be able to enter every part of it, but then during the progression, you will be able to use boosters that will open new paths. And the same with player tools. So there will be part of the locations that you will be not able, for example, to open or gather few resources. And the later resources will be more sexy because it will allow you to create better devices, will allow you to, upgrade your ship much better. You will be able to move faster. So you will be able to fly in different directions and so on and so on. So yeah, that's how we want to create the progression for the future.
So I love that. Basically, the gist from what I got from that is, rather than the usual skill tree progression system that we'll be seeing, what we're going to see is being able to enhance ourselves through the various fruits and things that we come across in the actual world. So we'll be able to make vials, which will give us enhanced, say, stamina, enhance this, enhance that, better this and better that. And alongside that, it's going to be a sort of Subnautica way of progressing through. Rather than upgrading your actual character, you find tools that allow you to get further into the world, which I like that system. It is a cool system. I do like and love the traditional skill tree system, maxing everything out and seeing what you can build and having all that kind of stuff. But this is it's quite interesting. I like the way that they're doing it. It's definitely going to lead to much more longevity gameplay wise. You're not going to be able to max your character out and then that's it done. You're going to be able to go through different areas, test different vials and different bits out, and that will change depending on what you've got running and what you've got in your airship. There's so many variables that are there which always add to replayability, which I really, really like.
The next question comes from Ettore Lignelli on Twitter again. They asked, what kind of story drive can we expect? Cutscenes, writings, audio logs, etc. What can we expect from a story within Forever Skies?
What we can see right now in the demo is the beginning of our story. It's like a small introduction of what's going to happen in the game. I think that we can definitely say that it's gonna be a little different in start of early access because we're gonna improve it. But yeah, for sure it's gonna be a cutscene, opening cutscenes. There will be different audio logs and various storytelling, and we gonna introduce a huge part of story as a story mode that will be part of one of updates in early access. Right now, it's a little bit hard to say exactly when. We're not ready to show the roadmap of everything that's going to be in early access. The story will be about viruses. It will be about finding the cure and maybe saving someone else living somewhere.
Oh,
Maybe
I like
a little
that.
bit of a tease there.
I like that. So something I've been very interested in since the start is obviously what they've just spoke about, and that is stories and story mode. Now, we are going to see a few cutscenes, as they've said, and we have already seen a few in the demo, but they're going to expand on that as time goes through. They may not all be there in the initial launch of Early Access, but they've said from the start that they will start to implement more story modes as the game progresses and goes further into Early Access and towards full release. So I'm looking forward to that. We've already seen a slight bit of storytelling in the demo when that comes to finding the guy that's ran off with something. I can't remember it off the top of my head fully, but you know, we find him where he's been locked in the cell and the other dead scientists with him. So there'll be a lot of environmental storytelling in that aspect as well. We're going to be finding, as he says, audio logs, which brilliant way of telling a story, but not quite telling it straight at you. You have to piece it together yourself. You have to find various parts to that story, and then once you've got all of those parts, you start to see a bigger picture, which I really like that, and it leaves it very much up to the player if they do want to progress into that story route of the game.
So the next question comes from R. Dunlap over on Discord. They asked, will there be customization options like colour for building and character customization available in the game?
So yeah, definitely. About the customization. So first of all, second, but not like less important character in a game is a ship itself. So we really feel that this is the thing, the part of the game that players would love to like be able to customize, and we hear it all over the time. So you know, like changing the walls, changing the floors, roofs. We are working even right now on something that's called painting tool that will allow player to modify or change the colors or patterns.
What I can add up here is that both topics were actually touched on in our Steam blogs. I think, Greg, you've been showing some screenshots with the painting tool, and also we shared a couple of concept arts showing different models of players, and please check them out. They are really cool.
Yeah, we'll put a link in the description so you guys will be able to check those out for sure. Yeah.
Character customization is something that I really, really look forward to, as well as airship customization. We do go into airships a little bit more in just a second, but definitely for character, we did see a very small amount of the customization being putting posters on the wall. Obviously, we could add the panels in to just make things look a little bit prettier, but being able to change all the colours and stuff like that, as they say, they have touched upon that on the dev blogs, and you can check them out on Steam. The link for that is in the description down below if you do want to see. But I think that's a great thing, especially community-wise, being able to build loads of stuff and then show stuff off to the community. People get more hyped and then they build their own, and it just carries on and it rolls. We see the same thing with Icarus, where somebody has built something amazing and somebody else has gone, that's cool, but I can build something similar to that with a massive twist of my own on it. And then it just rolls and keeps going, and people build more, things get more extravagant, things get brilliant, and that's not just the sizes, that is obviously the interior as well, and being able to change that is going to show a lot of personality, which I love in building games, when it's not just here's a wall, here's a door, here's a desk, here's a bed. That's boring. So being able to customize, brilliant. I do completely understand that that's not something that they're aiming for initially. We may see some small amounts of customization from the start, but being able to do it eventually is perfectly fine. I'm looking forward to that.
So the next one comes from Comp, again on Discord. They asked, are you planning to add any cooperative mode in 2023, or would that possibly come later?
I think the main focus right now is on a single player part of the game, and of course the early access roadmap. But from what we can say is that we would love to release it rather sooner than later, so targeting 2023 with this.
So that was a short and sweet answer. They have said that they could potentially be seeing co-op, but it will not be launching with the initial early access release, which I'm assuming, obviously I don't know anything about game development, but I'm assuming adding co-op is really, really difficult to any game, especially one where players can build and change structures I'm assuming that puts a massive load on. But, you know, they are adding it eventually. So, I know a lot of people have been asking for co-op. And like they've said, you know, that it will be coming at some point. It's just when it comes. They have said, like they said, they're going to stick to 2023 if they can. Hopefully the game still launches in 2023. Everything else has been delayed this year. Next year, I'm hoping we have a really good year of on-time releases.
Grim on Discord, they asked a couple of questions, but one of them was, what are the chances you'll be adding discoverable pets? I know it's been requested, or other collectibles like bobbleheads for inside the ship, etc. What are the chances of seeing these kind of things in the game?
Would love add pets. That's, you know, an internal thing that we're discussing quite often.
Yeah.
So absolutely happening for different collectibles and artifacts. You'll be able to find them, you'll be able to add them to your airship. Some of them might be, you know, the bobbleheads or, you know, that elements. When it comes to actual pets walking with you on the airship, that's something that definitely is, you know, not being confirmed or anything like that. We need to prepare for you know, adding that type of element to the game, and if it will happen, it will be a big thing, and we'll let you know.
Yes, collectibles, pets, not 100%, not really that bothered about that. I mean, if there's a dog in the game that I can pet, that instantly puts the game up in my books. But collectibles is a must. Absolutely love collectibles. Any collectible in any game, I'm a stickler for it. I always want to get every single collectible, find anything and everything that I possibly can. So those things, brilliant. Hopefully we see them in early access, but awesome. Just, yeah, collectibles. I lose my mind. I'm a little bit giddy for collectibles.
Are there any plans for difficulty options? For example, disable or increasing and decreasing of food and water drain scaling? For those who either want more of an atmospheric or more of a challenging experience. That comes from Silent Marine over on Discord.
Part of the feedback we received and the results from the survey allow us to think about different difficulties. And yeah, we want to give the opportunity for players that want to feel the survival mode, and at the same time, if someone is more about exploration and we want to give that kind of difficulty to be able to experience that feeling, and then if you just want to focus on building the ship, there will probably there will be a mode or difficulty that will allow you to do it. I just wanted to say that in a demo, we believe that, I mean, there was plenty of feedback from people that were very happy with that difficulty and then the water and hungry and drinking mechanics. Other people, they say that maybe it was too fast. So we need to think about that, and we are talking even right now about it. We believe it's not about just, you know, how fast water is draining and so on. It's more about balance of the whole game. Maybe we need to consider like giving more water just with drinking from drinking clear water. But of course, one of the more important part here will be that we need to make sure that player feels the progression. So when you explore more, you will be able to find new ingredients, you will be able to find new resources that will allow you to create better food. So yeah, that's about it. And we are considering options that may be changing difficulty or maybe changing something more like customizing settings, options to disable, for example, energy. So maybe on an easier difficulty, players don't need to rest. It's gonna be optional element. But yeah.
Now, difficulty isn't really something that I'm 100% interested in, but I do think with a game like this, having a sandbox mode as well as a normal mode would be really, really beneficial just for the building aspect of that. You know, going out there, being able to farm all the loot without the worry of eating, sleeping, getting damaged, all that kind of stuff, and just being able to have a mode to build on. Because that way it just gives you much more time to show things off, and there's not that frustration there of trying to getting really deep into a build and then all of a sudden, oh shit, I've got no water or I've got no food. So having a sandbox mode, definitely. Difficulty, like I say, swings and roundabouts. Some people like it, some people don't. I do agree though that the water was definitely going down way too fast in the demo. Food was perfectly fine, but water was just disappearing almost instantly. So obviously slight exaggeration there. But yeah, sandbox mode, 100% would love that. That also, like I said, replayability. That's a big thing for me in my games. If I can play the game for longer, to me, I value that at more money. The more time I can get out of a game, the more I'm willing to pay for it. So, sandbox mode is almost endless. You can go on for hours and hours and hours. But I'd be happy to pay more for something like that.
The next question is, are there going to be aggressive creatures and weapons, or something to run or fight back? That question was asked by Table on a Desk over on Steam.
Yeah, so even in our trailer after the demo, we're showing that one of creatures, aggressive creatures in a locations above the dust, so they will be there. Definitely it's gonna start with locations above the dust, but then when you're going below the dust, then the magic is gonna start, you know, like for real. And there will be much bigger, aggressive enemies that you will be able to avoid, you will be able to confront. Like, we always need to remember that our protagonist is his scientist, so he's more about, you know, gathering knowledge, and he's not very skilled in combat, but it will be possible.
Yes! Yes! Enemies under the dust. That is something that they've sort of teased at already, which I'm looking forward to seeing things like that. Very excited to see bigger enemies and just random bits that we'll actually be able to fight. Whether we'll be able to fight them, like they say, our guy is a scientist, so he's not out there to fight. He's there to gather data, survey the planet, and do things like that. But we've already seen a few little clips and bits and bobs of smaller enemies coming at us, so maybe there'll be a way to defend our airship, potentially, from those bigger threats, which I think would be very, very cool. So that is it. I want to give a massive thanks to Greg, Andre, and Pavel, and everybody that's sent in questions. That was awesome. We've learned a good load of stuff. If you do want to see the full video, they do talk a little bit about modding and a few of the random bits and bobs. Very interesting. Definitely check that out. The link to it will be in the description down below. So, for now, there's only one thing left to say, and that is subscribe to the channel, drop a like in the video if you want to support us further. Please check out the members. I've been Wired. You've been awesome. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.